I know this isn't proper golf attire, but I have my 9-month-old boy crawling around over there and forgot to bring the camera to the golf course yesterday, so you guys are going to have to put up with my unprofessional, I don't care if my son throws up on this attire. Anyways, we were talking about on the blog yesterday coming over the top, and then there wanted to be some more clarification on the releases from different angles. And if you remember from the other video, the 3 kinds of releases were the throw or the chuck, the hold on, delayed release, holding the lag, that release, and then the release that I said was the one you should be using, which is the gradual release from the top to get you into perfect post-impact position there. So people wanted to see this from a different angle and what that looks like. So here's a dowel rod showing where the target angle is in a golf ball. So if you take the club back, you can see how you lose a lot of the angle and get it way out of position when you release it like that. You can see how that ball's going to go left. Or the holding on and burying it to the inside, you can see how underneath the plane this is. If I turn, it's even more underneath the plane. At the Barclays a few weeks ago, you remember Tiger throwing his club and yelling, "Release it, release it." Well, that's what he was talking about. He's, if you release it, see how that stays right on a nice plane, and as you turn, the club comes straight into impact position, right on plane. So most people think if you release the club too early, it's a pull hook. Well, that's not true. You can overdraw it if you release it too early, but pull hooks are from a bad release, which is usually one of these. That'll cause, the throw will cause a pull hook, or delaying the release. People will get a pull hook and they'll try to delay the release longer, and that's even worse, because if you're under here, that's obviously a block. But if you shut everything down and flip it right there, that's the pull hook. So generally a pull hook is either going to be a bad release or a late release, where if you're releasing it from the top and you're a little out of sync, that's just going to draw a little bit too much. So that's the release issue. Now we want to talk about what over the top is and what causes that, and I said to put a dowel rod down to help you deal with that. Over the top, I've seen very rarely someone turn it straight away and then come over the top. That's a pretty difficult thing to do physically. But a lot of great players who have hit cuts, a lot of low handicappers, will take it away pretty straight or even a little bit to the outside, and then what looks like come over the top, but then they release it down the line and hit a nice little cut. The over-the-top pull slice that you generally see among amateurs usually starts by taking the club too far to the inside just with the arms. And then you get right here, and the only place you can go is like that. So I said put down a dowel rod and use your shoulders to take it away. Try to keep it visually. You don't want to do this and move your head, but just visually use that dowel rod to keep that club right on line, and then you're on plane, and then all you have to do is release it and turn through the ball. So people say, well, if I'm hitting a pull slice, I'm coming over the top. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can hit a pull slice by delaying the release. See, that's on plane the whole way, but then if you pull your hands way to the left and delay the release, that's an open club face coming across the line without coming over the top. Another one, and that looks like this from this angle. Okay, I call that raking. The other one is hanging back on your right side. You can be perfectly on plane, and then if you go like this, that ball's going left. And to see it from this angle, it looks like this. Okay? So the point of this whole video is to know that if you take the club straight back and release it from the top, you can't come over the top. And if you're coming too far inside, that's usually what causes an over the top, because you can't hit it from here. So when people are trying to swing more inside out to cure over the top, they're actually making it worse by going further and further inside and not having anywhere to go. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating a lot of these things for effect so you can better illustrate them, but you can see where I'm coming from. Straight back and release. Over the top is too far inside, and see, this is the inside plane, and then you're coming over the top of the plane you started on. So you just want to come up, turn your shoulders, and release, and you'll come right into impact perfectly.